Hello everybody and welcome back to Buckeye Politics. It's me, your favorite Ohioan. So today we're going to be looking at the 2022 generic ballot, the red wave, see how big it is, because there's a lot of people that I've seen online talking about, oh look, the polls on 538, the red wave is dying, Democrats going to take back the Senate and the House, and it's like, yeah, no. Looking at history, it's really not that big of a concern. So the big things that happened today was if you look at the 538, which is a huge, probably one of the most popular pollsters, not necessarily the most accurate, but the most well-known and most popular. They, for the longest time, they've had the Republican Party leading the generic ballot by about 2 points or so. However, recently, as you can see here, that's kind of fallen apart. They were up by 1.8. Republicans were dropped down to under 1 percentage point back in July 23rd, and so now they're currently only leading by 0.2%. So Republicans only lead by 0.2% in the generic ballot. You come down here, look at the most recent polls conducted. A lot of these, whether it be by YouGov, which is given a B+ rating, the Winston Group, which has an A or B rating, and even Lake Research Partners, they all have their Democratic Party leading by 2 points, 4 points, 6 points, 4.6 points. And you have a couple Republican polls here, including Trafalgar and Rasmussen. These are both kind of done by Republican-leaning pollsters, and they have the Republicans of 10 and 8, and then we have McLaughlin, which is the Republican Party, leading by 5. Now, Trafalgar is actually pretty accurate. It says partisan pollster for the GOP, but they actually have an A- rating. They were very accurate back in 2020, so I think the Republican wave years, you can see here, if you look at the pollsters that tend to be more accurate, I mean, they only have, what, Democrat plus 1, Democrat plus 4, Republican plus 8, so the polls already are kind of like, the polls are all over the place. It's July. I'm not too concerned. And 538 is also pretty abysmal. If you look back at 2020, in terms of like the 538's polling, look back at 2020. They had Biden winning across nationwide by 7.3. He only won across the country by like 3 or 4. So they all 538 overestimates the Democrats. 2018 they were relatively on the mark, but 2016 they were just awful as well. So they were awful in 2016. 2018 they were relatively accurate. Kind of got them back on track. And then 2020 and they were awful. It looks like 2022 they're going to be awful as well. So, but if you look at RCP, Real Clear Politics, they tend to be much more accurate, and they currently have the Republicans leading by about 1.7% in the generic ballot. They kind of have a mix of different polls, and they do a much better job at kind of evening out the polls, choosing which polls to look at, and how they do their spread. And they have the Republicans leading by about 2 points. If you look at the graph here, as you can see, but they have had Republicans up for a while, although the races are getting a little bit competitive. But the RCP, which is more accurate and has been more accurate, tends to be more shows the Republicans up very narrowly. And if we go back to other red wave years, this is 2010. 2010 was a huge red wave year. 538. Let's go back to around July. Well, let's see. Today's July 28th. Let's go to July 28th. Then they had July 28th, 2010. RCP had the Republican Party up 3 points. And then as you can see from there, just boom, 50 to R plus 9, 50 to 41. Currently, the GOP, it's 44 to 42. Back at this time, back in 2010. They had it at 44 to 41. So, really, I'm not that concerned about where we're at. Honestly, we're fine. Red wave year is looking solid. Let's go to 2014, too, because everyone's like, oh, well, Democrats might be leading tomorrow. And that is true. Democrats could take the lead tomorrow. But look at this. Back in 2014, also Republican wave here. Democrats took the lead in the generic ballot. Ended July, early August. Democrats up by 1, 1.6, 2 even in some cases. And then all of a sudden, boom, Republicans just took off and they ran with it and took it across the finish line. And with the news that we're now heading into a recession today, we've officially entered a recession no matter what the Democrats try to say, oh, it's not a recession, it's it's slow economic growth. No, it's a recession. They've done a horrible job with the economy. And, yeah, with all that going on, I think we're just going to see something very similar to what we saw in 2010. Democrats may have had a very narrow lead, might have been very competitive, and boom, Republicans just take off with it. So I'm really not all that concerned. I think we're going to be fine. Thanks for watching this video, and if you did enjoy, please like and subscribe for more.